and welcome to Community Corner. My name is Cristen McMillan. I am your Public Information Officer. Today we have Mrs. Kathrine Pierandozzi and Mrs. Jennifer Norris, our Principal and Assistant Principal of the Year for the School District of Indian River County. So sitting with me right now, we have Kathy Pierandozzi from the WABASSO School. How are you this morning?
Great, thank you for having me.
Awesome, well congratulations on being the Principal of the Year for the district. We're all very proud of you. So would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself and how long you've been with the district?
Absolutely. I've been an educator for 25 years with Indian River County for the past 3 years. And I have to say, every job that I have entered into, I've always said, this is my favorite. But now as I look back over 25 years, I can honestly say my presence at WABASSO School has been the best job that I've ever had.
So tell us a little bit about WABASSO School and why it's so special.
WABASSO School is a fabulous place. And I think it primarily, I have students with unique abilities and some special needs, and that this is a culture and an environment where my staff and our students, it is all about learning. We are just like every traditional school, only we have to address some unique needs and unique abilities. And to do that, we do so through an academic rigor, just like others. We address behavioral needs, emotional and social needs. We have heavy intervention and behavior policies that go on. We also have in the area of communication, we apply as many strategies as possible to develop communication, and then we do address some health needs for our students.
Great. Now I know there's a couple of programs at your school that you have spearheaded, the Phoenix Cafe and the Phoenix Print Shop. And can you tell us a little bit about that and what the students are doing to generate revenue for their own school programs?
Absolutely. So this is all part of our transition program. When arriving at WABASSO School, we had students that were involved in a very large age and grade span. That's how they were educated. But I have students that are 18 to 22 years old that they need a specialized curriculum, a curriculum that involves daily living, independent functioning, and occupational skills. So in order to do that and design that program model for our students, I wanted to implement a true transition program, taking my students from that classroom into the community. The better we prepare them before they leave us to integrate successfully in their community, the better prepared they are to have their own maximum potential and function at that maximum potential and live independently if possible. So we implemented the Learning Lab. It's called the Real Learning Lab. And that lab is a true apartment setting. In our office space, I purchased a poster maker and the entire setup for that, in which our students now sell posters to our entire Indian River school community. And so they operate a business learning those and applying those occupational skills. We have developed the Phoenix Cafe, and that is a not only residential similarity setting, but we have commercial products and commercial equipment in that kitchen so that we can produce lunches, and we have made them, you've attended, we have made them for district personnel. Our students and staff cook for our teachers, and then we do different things like we're doing apple crisps and pecan pies for sale during Thanksgiving, and then we always do a pumpkin cheesecake every year, and we bring that to the district office. So there's 2 full opportunities of business opportunities for them to apply their occupational skills.
Right, and I was lucky enough to be invited to the Italian feast a couple of weeks ago, and it was amazing. And I love that the students were growing their own vegetables and herbs in the garden, and those were actually being used in the meals. It was just wonderful. So thank you for that invitation.
You are welcome anytime.
And so what are you doing with the profits that they get from their meals and from the print shop? How do you use those to go back into the program?
So in both the Phoenix Cafe and the Phoenix Print Shop, any funds that are collected through those sales will go back into purchasing really the equipment, resource, and supplies. So we will update equipment, or it will be to purchase the foods and supplies, baking supplies, as well as boxes and things like that that we use typically to serve not only the foods but our product that we deliver. So that it goes right back into the program, and Although our students were very excited that those who have visited and the Phoenix Cafe for the Italian feast even tipped our students after service. So they will keep that money, and they themselves will be able to go into the community and have lunch for their well-deserved, honored, and their hard work. So everything goes right back into the program for our students.
That's wonderful. Okay. So, well, thanks for going over a couple of those programs with us. So let's talk a little bit more about you specifically.
Okay.
So how would you describe your leadership style?
I think, let me go back. I think as I grew up in the system, in the education system, way back when I first started, it was all about a management type of style, and everything was operational. And so I was taught and mentored by an exceptional man that taught us operations, all of us that were under his leadership, like no other. So that was part ingrained since we were teachers. And then as time went by, when I was applying for assistant principal and those type of jobs, it was about transactional leadership and transformational leadership. We turned into that instructional leader. That became the primary focus as accountability from the state came into play. Other things changed the process in which we do. So it is important for us as leaders to grow and change with every need or demand that comes either from the state or from our students' needs. You know, our culture and climate changes in every school that you go into to lead or represent. So you have to change. And I believe that not only do I take the skills of that management aspect, that's just something that I love, is problem solving and reworking with the dollars that you have available. I love putting into programs, but also it's developing that relationship. It's interpersonal skills. And I think that's the most critical in leadership today. And I hope I continue to do that.
Great. So I know we have a lot of new teachers in the district this year, and probably a few at your school. What would be some advice that you would give them for their first year?
I think for your first year, it's so much, there's a lot of pressure on new teachers today. And so it's not just learning your content. It's not just developing lesson plans any longer or imparting knowledge to students. It's encompassing a lot of building relationships and understanding children. And if we take just one moment to understand the children's needs that sit in front of us every day, I think that the teaching piece of that and the learning part will come more naturally, not only for the teacher, new teachers, but for the students. I think we need to know who our students are, and what their needs are. There's social emotional learning is a big piece in our educational society today. And I think it's very critical to understand that, to understand differences among children. You know, diversity includes not only cultures, but it includes students with different needs, varying needs, students who have experienced trauma in their life. If we understand our children, I think that we can take that and our teachers' expertise, and I think students will learn and gain quite a bit academically, but I think socially fit in as well.
Right. So I've visited your school several times, and I see how the students and the teachers interact with each other, and I can tell the type of culture that you've built at the school. What do you do to maintain the culture at your school? And are you at the level where this is like the ideal cultural environment for your school? Or are you still working to achieve that every day?
I think, you know, change and processes, they take time. And most research will tell you 3 to 5 years to implement a very good program and process. But I think that it's the staff. It's the staff that I have that's in place at WABASSO School at every level and every position. They work as a team. They are committed and dedicated. So that makes it that much easier for me to maintain that culture. They have a committed culture. I mean, it is a committed culture, and they have that commitment to their students. So they come every day. It's a very difficult job. Our students, remember, still have to meet the same standards that every other traditional school does. So they take the same standard assessments and they work in the same standards-based instruction, but yet we have to overcome some obstacles that our children have for learning. And this staff does that. So I think maintaining my staff, their commitment, their morale, letting them know every day that they are the best at what they do, and that's easy because they are. but also I hope to reward them in as many possible ways that I can for doing their job and going above and beyond, which every one of them does on a regular basis.
Right, and I definitely have seen that.
I know.
When I visit your school, it's amazing. It's a very, very special place. So one last question for you. If someone were shooting a movie about your life, who would the lead role go to?
That maybe had the most impact in my life?
Sure.
I have to tell you, as difficult as it seems, because you go through trials and tribulations with your parents, but I'd have to say my father, in that he was a man of integrity. He was a man of conviction. And whether or not you agreed, and sometimes he was a little difficult and he was rough, so you knew you didn't want to go that distant, the distance in that manner. You had to be softer with folks. He taught me the dedication to your job. And if you're going to do whatever it is you're going to do, you do it 100%. And he was a man who followed through. He was a police officer. He was a very good police officer. And I think I learned a lot of that from him.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you.
And up next, we have Jennifer Norris from Rosewood Magnet School, our School District of Indian River County Assistant Principal of the Year. The School District of Indian River County is active and adding followers daily on social media. Wondering what's going on in our district? Do you want to see pictures and videos of our teachers and students doing amazing things and keep up to date with news, events, and hot topics? Follow us. On Twitter, search for @IRC Schools, and for Facebook, @School District of IRC. Are you looking for a way to access our school board meetings from home? Find us on our district YouTube channel, youtube.com/School District of Indian River County. You can also view video segments of exciting community events that have taken place in our district. Tune in to Comcast Channel 28 and AT&T UVerse Channel 99 to view district news regarding course registration, event information, transportation, and school news. Welcome back to Community Corner. We have Mrs. Jennifer Norris, the Assistant Principal of the Year from Rosewood Magnet School. Welcome. Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So tell us a little bit about yourself and how long you've been with the district and in this role.
Okay. So I began teaching back in 2001 in Orlando. I taught there for a few years. And then I decided to make the move home. I'm from Vero, and so I moved back here in 2004. And began teaching first grade at Rosewood. Around 2012, I decided to make the jump into leadership, applied for an assistant principal position, and was placed actually at Rosewood Magnet. So I've been an assistant principal since 2012 at Rosewood.
Okay, great. And there was a time when you actually took over as principal for a while too, correct?
Yes. Our long-term veteran principal, Mrs. Dillon, retired in December. And so that was around 2015. Mm-hmm. And so they offered me the position to become the interim principal, which was a huge honor. And I learned a ton that year. And so I took over and hired a new assistant principal and became the interim principal until June that year. Decided to take the step back. I had a 1-year-old and a 5-year-old or 6-year-old. Mm-hmm. At the time, and just felt like I needed to be a mom first. Mm-hmm. It was a really heartbreaking decision because I really enjoyed being in that position and in that role and leading the school. It was a really great learning opportunity. So I stepped back into the assistant principal position at the end of the year, and we have our new leader, Cassie Flores, now.
Great. So how's this year going for you? Tell us about Rosewood Magnet. What's going on over there?
So Rosewood Magnet, we're a magnet school for core knowledge, which means that we look at E.D. Hirsch's curriculum as well as our state standards, mm-hmm. and we look at how can we develop culturally literate students. And so we teach our students through our standards and through the ideas of E.D. Hirsch what it means to be culturally literate throughout our cultural areas, which is our science, our music, our art, and our media, and our PE. Mm-hmm. And so we're looking at teaching our students history across the globe. So our first graders are learning about ancient Egypt, and they're learning the effects of why they lived near the Nile and how that affected them, and they're really applying those pieces throughout the day. So they're learning songs that, about singing songs about ancient Egypt, and then they're learning how to write in hieroglyphics and art, and they're doing a play, showing what they've learned so far about ancient Egyptians. And so we really bring that to the forefront. So that's our big piece at Rosewood is we're a core knowledge school. But also we have lots of other things going on. We're a partnership with the Learning Alliance. We're a Moonshot Academy school. We have a few collaborative classrooms, and we have a Moonshot Media Center. So we're doing lots of great things in those areas.
Great. Now, I know over the past month, I've gotten some really great pictures and information from the school about a couple of, like mid-unit activities or end-of-unit activities. There was a Westward Ho Day, and then there was the Medieval Day as well, the medieval times. So tell us a little bit about those, because it looked really cool.
So those are actually connected to our core knowledge. What we do is we provide a hands-on learning experience at the end of the unit. So it kind of culminates everything. Everything they've been learning for the whole unit is put into this one day. So parents come and help experience that. So with Westward Ho Day, it was the wrap-up of the culmination of our westward expansion. So our second graders learned about the westward expansion and why we moved west and what the obstacles they overcame during that time. And so during Westward Ho Day, the students experienced square dancing that they've been learning in music, and they went panning for gold, and they learned about Johnny cakes and made those, and the parents come in and help, and it's a really great experience. The students remember it for years. I mean, we have our alumni that come back and say, oh, I remember doing the Westward Expansion, Westward Ho Day, or I remember our Civil War Wax Museum in 5th grade, and I remember Medieval Day in 4th grade where, we got to make catapults, and we got to play this, and we got to, make these type of things, and we had our, medieval play, and so these are really long-lasting experiences that we're able to provide for our students.
Great. So part of a role of a school administrator is to be an example for students and employees. So how do you feel about this role? How do you take that on?
So you really have to walk the walk and walk the talk. So really just modeling that positive behavior and that growth mindset that we're never done learning. We want our students at Rosewood to be lifelong learners, and how do we model that for our staff and for our students is to be that lifelong learner. So we're always learning. We're learning alongside of our teachers. We're learning alongside of our students, and making that connection, letting them know, hey, we're helping you learn things for the future. And so really just making that known that we're in it with them, and making sure that they understand that we're there for them, we're a support system for them, but we're also learning alongside them.
So what are some of the things that you do to help your teachers and staff focus and improve student achievement at your school?
We do a lot.
I'm sure you do.
So we are very focused on the connections with our students and making sure that the students understand that we are there for them. We are here for them. We want to know how they're feeling. We want to make sure that they understand that, yes, we want them to succeed academically, but we also want them to become productive citizens. And how do we do that? How do we create this culture of collaborative, critical thinkers? And so we're helping our students understand how to do that, and we're supporting our teachers by giving them some professional development in those areas. Looking at our data, we're looking at how are students performing. Is what we're teaching, are they understanding it? And how do we know that? And what do we need to do to adjust our instruction if they don't understand that? And looking at the different pieces of data, not just one set of data, and looking at the whole child. How are they performing? And is there something that we need to put into place academically or behaviorally to help support them? And really touching base with the teachers and the parents as well, because the parent input is a huge piece that I feel like sometimes gets left out. And so we want to hear from parents. And so we have a lot of our parents sitting in on MTSS meetings with us. And, we're just really trying to figure out how is the student performing outside of school and in school. It's not just a snapshot of how they're doing at school.
And I know at Rosewood you have a lot of parent involvement, which you're very fortunate to have. And every time I visited the campus, parents are swarming.
Yes.
And it's swarming in a good way.
Yes.
It's awesome to have them there. So that's definitely something that stands out about your school. Can you kind of give anyone who is going through the educational leadership process, I know we have a lot of teachers that are working and then they're working towards the educational leadership at the same time. Can you just kind of give them some tips or some words of advice as they're going through it? Because I'm sure it can be really overwhelming.
It is, and I remember being there thinking, goodness gracious, I don't know if I can ever do that. But I would say to those teachers, keep going and keep an open mind. You know, everything that you're learning, you're going to apply, and keep, you know, making those student-centered decisions, and always keep that at the forefront. Is this what's best for kids? Mm-hmm. Because if the answer is no, chances are it's not going to work. And that's why we're here, is for our students. And if we can make that become the forefront of everyone's thinking, mm-hmm. they're going to do great things. Mm-hmm. And know that, you know, it will be tough, but we can do this. And we're making a difference in all of our students' lives. So it's really exciting to know that, you know, there are people out there that are still wanting to become administrators, because it's an amazing experience. Every day you know that you're making a difference in the teachers' lives, the students' lives, and we're making those wonderful decisions for students.
Thank you. So tell us a little bit about your socks today. I noticed that this probably isn't your typical outfit that you wear every day.
Yeah, today is casual for a cause, and so each month our district designates a charity to raise money for, and that money goes to that charity. And so this month we are raising money for the Veterans Council. And so our students are all over campus today wearing our crazy socks and modeling that behavior. You know, we are raising money for organizations that help support us, so we want to support them. Mm-hmm. And so modeling that behavior by wearing these crazy socks and having it actually is a conversation starter for students, like, oh, hey, I see you're wearing some cat socks today. You must be a cat lover. And mm-hmm. oh, yeah, these are my troll socks, and lots of superhero socks today. So yes, I don't typically wear crazy socks. But, you know, today is casual for a cause. So, you know, I'm hoping that we've raised some great money for our cause this month.
That's great. Well, thank you for leaving them on for all of us to see today. Added a special little part to our interview. And thank you for being with us.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for tuning into Community Corner today. I'm your host, Cristen McMillan, and your Public Information Officer. Everyone have a great day.